All right, this is fractionConverter. All right, so you have to write a function that takes a number as its argument and returns a string that represents that number's simplified fraction. Whole numbers and mixed fractions should be returned as improper fractions. All right, you can do that. Here's the whole code. This is what we're going to end up with. I know it seems kind of complicated, but it's actually quite simple. And the logic, it's very straightforward. It's step by step. There's no split logic. So let's just go through each line and we'll go through what it means. So first of all, we have edge cases. Uh, Obviously, if someone passes in 0, we still have to pass an improper fraction. So we're just going to return a string of 0, 1. Likewise, if it's a whole number like 3, we don't really have to do anything with that other than return 3 over 1. So those are two edge cases. Get those out of the way. Now, for the actual making of the fractions. First, we want to declare something called numSplit, which is basically going to convert the number to a string, and it's going to split it at the dot into a tuple. And the tuple in JavaScript is just going to be an array. And the first index of the array is going to be the number that is on the left of the decimal, and then the next index is going to be on the right. So we can split what is the whole number part of our fraction and the decimal part of our fraction. And then we're going to set the denominator to the most appropriate power of 10. The numerator, as you see below, it's basically going to be what is on the right side of our decimal. So if it's like 1.75, 75 is going to be our numerator, and then 100 would be our denominator. So we're going to want to turn that into a fraction. And then, with that fraction, we want to find the greatest common factor and divide. So you see here we have a for loop, and this for loop is going to count down from the numerator until we find the greatest common factor. And then we're going to just divide by I, and we're going to have that. Cool. So now the only thing we have to do is, we've settled our decimal that would be on the right-hand side, but we have our whole number. If you passed in like 0.75, this would work, but what about 1.75 or 2.75? We basically need to add, we need to add that to the numerator. But we have to also account for whether or not it's positive or negative. So you see we have two things here. If it's positive, we can do simple denominator times whatever the whole number was. If not, then we got to do some extra calculations for negative numbers. And that's it. Once we have both the numerator and the denominator, we just return it as a string, concatenate it with that little dash, and we got it.